Most people think buying a small SUV means choosing between a cramped interior or a massive monthly gas bill. It's that age-old compromise where you either get the utility you need but end up paying for it every single time you hit the pump, or you get something small and efficient that feels like you're driving a glorified toy car. But what if there was a vehicle that actually gave you SUV utility with the fuel economy of a compact sedan, all while being quite literally the most reliable thing on four wheels? Today, we're diving into the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross, the car that might just be the smartest, boring decision you'll ever make. When Toyota first announced they were turning the world's best-selling sedan into an SUV, everyone expected a standard Corolla with a basic lift kit. We all thought they'd just slap some plastic cladding on the side and call it a day. The problem with many subcompact SUVs is that they look a bit half-baked. They're either over-styled with weird angles that won't age well, or they have tiny windows that make the interior feel like a dark cave. You want something that looks professional and rugged, but doesn't feel like you're trying too hard when you're just pulling into the grocery store parking lot. Looking at the 2026 model, it's clear Toyota went for something much more substantial. This isn't just a tall sedan, it's a mini RAV4. For this year, we've got a refreshed front fascia with a bolder, more aggressive grille and updated LED lighting internals that give it a much more premium signature on the road. It isn't trying to be a spaceship, it's clean, mature, and surprisingly handsome. It gives you that high-riding SUV confidence without the massive footprint, making it the perfect size for tight city parking while still looking like a real SUV when you take it out for the weekend. Under the hood, you've got two very different paths you can take, and this is where most buyers get stuck. You can go with the standard 2.0-liter gas engine or the heavily hyped hybrid powertrain. Now, the standard gas engine pushes out 169 horsepower, which sounds fine when you're looking at a spec sheet, but let's be real for a second. If you're a driver who hates that feeling of lag, the base model might drive you crazy. When you're trying to merge onto a fast-moving highway in a fully loaded gas-powered Corolla Cross, it can feel a bit, well, leisurely. You floor it, the CVT transmission moans, and you sort of just wait for the speed to arrive. It's not exactly a thrilling experience. But here is where the story changes completely. Enter the 2026 Hybrid. This is the secret weapon of the lineup. It bumps the power up to 196 horsepower and adds standard electronic on-demand all-wheel drive. Because of those electric motors, the torque is instant. It shaves nearly 2 seconds off the 0 to 60 time compared to the gas version. It's peppy, it's responsive, and honestly, it makes the Corolla Cross feel like a completely different and much more premium vehicle. You aren't just getting better gas mileage, you're getting a car that actually has the get-up-and-go you need for modern traffic.
Speaking of gas, we usually buy small SUVs to save money, but the SUV part of the name often kills the savings part of the equation. With gas prices being as unpredictable as they are, getting 25 miles per gallon just doesn't cut it anymore for a daily commuter. You want to go the distance without feeling that pump pain every 4 or 5 days. It's frustrating to buy a small car and still see your bank account drained by fuel costs. This is where the Corolla Cross absolutely dominates its class. The gas-powered model gets a very respectable 32 combined mpg, which is better than most. But the hybrid, it delivers an eye-watering 42 combined mpg. In heavy city driving, where most of us actually spend our time, the hybrid can even hit 45 mpg. You can literally drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and back on a single tank with room to spare. It's effectively a Prius in hiking boots. The amount of money you save over a 5-year ownership period practically pays for the hybrid upgrade itself. Moving inside, the Corolla Cross has always been known for being functional, but in the past that was often a polite way of saying a bit basic. Earlier models were criticized for having small, dated screens and a budget feel to the plastics. If you're spending $30,000 on a new car, you don't want the dashboard to remind you of a 2010 rental car. You want tech that works, screens that are clear, and a cabin that doesn't feel like a penalty box on long commutes. The payoff for 2026 is a massive tech suite upgrade. Upper trims now feature a 10.5-inch infotainment touchscreen and a gorgeous 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster that looks like something out of a luxury brand. It's crisp, it's fast, and it supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Toyota also redesigned the center console to be more ergonomic with better storage for your phone and keys. It still feels like a Toyota, meaning it's built to last 300,000 miles, but now it actually feels like it belongs in the current decade. The materials on the dash and doors have been stepped up too, with more soft-touch surfaces that make the cabin feel significantly more grown up.
Now let's talk about the Cross part of the name, which implies you can actually carry your life around in it. Many competitors in this subcompact segment have trunks so small you can barely fit a set of golf clubs, let alone a week's worth of camping gear or a big grocery haul. And don't even get me started on rear seat legroom. Usually in this class, the back seat is a kids-only zone where adults have to sit with their knees hitting their chins. While the rear seats are still a bit snug for 6-foot-tall adults, the cargo space is where the Corolla Cross punches way above its weight class. You get up to 24 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats. The wide opening and low load floor make it incredibly easy to toss in a stroller, a bike, or heavy luggage. Plus, for 2026, Toyota added more sound-deadening materials throughout the body. So not only can you carry all your gear, but the cabin stays much quieter on the highway than it did in previous years. It's a practical, no-nonsense layout that just works for real life. Toyota also knows that most people buying this car are either small families or safety-conscious commuters. In a world of distracted drivers and giant semi-trucks, being in a smaller vehicle can sometimes feel a bit vulnerable. You need more than just airbags. You need the car to help you avoid the crash in the first place. Nobody wants to feel like they're compromising their safety just to get a better parking spot. The 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid addresses this by making Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 standard on every single trim level. This isn't some cheap version of the safety tech. You get pre-collision systems with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, and full-speed range dynamic radar cruise control. The real payoff here is peace of mind. The car can literally see things you might miss in your blind spot or when you're exhausted after a long day at work. It's one of the highest-rated vehicles in its class for safety, and that invisible shield feeling is a huge reason why people keep coming back to the brand. So we've looked at the looks, the speed, the tech, and the safety. Now comes the hard part, the price tag. With the hybrid starting around $29,000 and the top trims pushing into the mid-30s, the Corolla Cross is entering RAV4 territory. You might find yourself wondering, why wouldn't I just buy the bigger RAV4 if the price is this close? It's a valid question that stops a lot of people in their tracks at the dealership. The answer comes down to efficiency and ease of use. The Corolla Cross is easier to park, nimbler in heavy city traffic, and gets significantly better gas mileage than a non-hybrid RAV4. If you don't actually need those extra 5 inches of width, why pay for the extra bulk and the extra fuel? For the person who wants a forever car, something that is cheap to run, almost impossible to break, and has all the modern tech you actually need, the 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid is arguably the best value on the market right now. It isn't a flashy choice, but it's the choice you'll still be happy with 10 years from now when it's still running perfectly. The 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross might not be the fastest or the most luxurious SUV on the road, but it is one of the most honest. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a Corolla that can handle a dirt road and a massive Costco run without breaking a sweat. It takes the stress out of driving and the stress out of your monthly budget. If you found this breakdown helpful and it helped you decide if this is the right car for your driveway, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Also, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the latest vehicles. What do you think about the 2026 updates? Is the hybrid worth the extra cash to you, or would you rather stick with the base gas model and save some money up front? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.